This conference will now be recorded.
We began this session on the last Sunday with prepositions, and as I promised all of you that we'll come up with another part of prepositions, that is the second part of this very topic regarding the grammatical aspects of OET writing, reading, speaking, and listening on this Sunday, this very Sunday, with regards to the OET specifically. So as promised, we are here once again, and to all of you, I want to tell you that whenever we come up with a session on Teach You Academy, on every weekend, may it be by Dr. Bhavna or may it be by me, so we make a very thorough research on several topics as to what is important and what topics have to be covered with regards to OET. So in spite of the fact that these topics are very small, like articles, prepositions, adjectives, the active and the passive voice, connectors, but collectively all these topics form the body of OET, that is the occupational English test. And we always make a very thorough research as to which topic has to be specifically, it has to be taken, so that no stone is left unturned when it comes to you qualifying the OET exam. At Teach You Academy, we make very sure that we equip you with all the organons and equipments of English grammar and the medical aspects in relation to the OET writing, speaking, reading, and listening, so that you qualify your OET examination in flying colors. So I welcome all the doctors and nurses over here, and I thank from the bottom of my heart to Teach You Academy once again for inviting me once again for this another interactive session where I and all of you, both of us, will communicate to each other, and we'll try to put our endeavors in this session collectively to make sure that things are clear, impactful, and they go straight into our brains. So, as I told you that we had already begun this session on last Sunday. If you missed the session, you can visit the video on YouTube, our channel Teach You Academy, or you can request the administration of Teach You Academy to equip you with the video that we took on the last session. On the last session with prepositions, we tried to make sure that where, how, and why prepositions are specifically used, and what significance does prepositions make when it comes to the occupational English test. Because many students, they often wonder that why do we have to study these very small grammatical topics like adjectives, articles, connectors, prepositions, the direct and the indirect speech, the active and the passive voice, the gerunds, the modals, the nouns, pronouns, and several other things with respect to the OET. But I want to tell you that whenever a building is constructed, every brick counts. You have to put each and every brick in the proper and the perfect place so that the entire sculpture looks brilliant and perfect at the end of the building. Manufacturing is done. Similarly, these very small topics, these are just like very, very small bricks when it comes to occupational English test. So prepositions are very, very small words that connect to nouns or pronouns. For example, I go school. I go school. This sentence is meaningless, but I go to school. I go to school is meaningful. Why? Because of TO2. So TO2 is a preposition. We put a preposition in between the two nouns and pronouns or a subject or and objects to make a sentence meaningful. So prepositions are small words that connect two nouns or pronouns to give a sentence a meaningful aspect. When it comes to OET speaking, when you are speaking to your patient, these prepositions will count everywhere. These prepositions will count everywhere, and I will show you how. So let us begin. Before beginning, I want to tell you there's a dragon right there. There's a dragon right there. Where? Besides you, on you, at your house, in your house, onto your desks. So whenever you want somebody, whenever you want to give a message to somebody, prepositions are used. Like besides you, on you, upon you, onto your roof, on your roof. So in the entire English language, in the entire English grammar, there are approximately 150 prepositions. I told you this thing on the last one also. There are 150 prepositions, and even more than that. Approximately 150 prepositions in the entire English. But out of these prepositions, there are only 4 to 5 prepositions that confuses us the most. Only 4 to 5 prepositions that confuse us the most. And what are those prepositions? Those prepositions are at, in, on, upon, onto, etc. So if we know how to use these prepositions appropriately, we are never going to make a mistake whenever it comes to taking any examination. May it be your oils, may it be your OET, may it be any exam in concern to the English language. If you have a knowledge, a deep knowledge of prepositions, you will never make or commit a mistake while using them. So just tighten up your seat belts as we are onto a voyage, onto an adventure that is to come regarding prepositions. So just tighten your seat belts. That is, just put your entire focus, be very focused and attentive during the coming minutes of this session. Make sure you have a notebook and a pen or a pencil in your hand so that you would be able to make short notes as to the things we are going to discuss in today's session. So just be attentive, be focused, tighten up your seatbelts. Do not leave this session if you want to excel in OET. So as I told you that on the last session, we learned about the usage and in-depth concepts of prepositions. And as I told you, there are 150 prepositions in the entire English language. But believe me, 145 prepositions do not confuse us. For example, besides you, after you, near you, onto you. But there are certain prepositions that confuse us the most, which are specifically on, at, and in. These 3 prepositions confuse us the most of the times. So we will, in today's session, we will try to fathom the concept of these prepositions thoroughly. So as I told you that there are 3 prepositions, on, at, and in, and these prepositions are very significant whenever it comes to the English speaking or writing. And these are the prepositions that confuse us the most, and these are the only prepositions that are able to change the entire meaning of any sentence whenever you write or read English. So let us begin now. On is used to mention place and time. On is used to mention place and time. For example, I am on a voyage today. I'm on leave today. I am on the roof. My birthday falls on Sunday. So on can be used whenever it comes to referring to a place or time. There are 2 aspects of these 3 prepositions, that is on, at, and in, and these 3 prepositions are used with 2 major aspects, and those 2 aspects are place and time. So first of all, we'll discuss surfaces. Whenever we talk about surfaces, please make sure you are using on with it. For example, the painting is hung upon the wall. A wall is a surface and the painting is hung on the wall. So whenever you use surfaces, make sure you use on with it. For example, the patient was laid upon the stretcher. Laid upon the stretcher or laid on the stretcher. Or upon can be used whenever we are referring to formal writing. But as you know, stretcher is a surface. A stretcher is a surface and the patient is lying over the surface. So we will say that the patient was laid on the stretcher, or you can use upon the stretcher also, because the stretcher is a upward surface. So we can use upon also, but I am specifically telling you about on, that whenever you use on, there must be a surface. The blood reports are on the desk. The blood reports are on the desk. Again, desk is a surface and the blood reports are lying over the desk or a surface. So we are using on here. Now, whenever it comes to referring days and dates and days, again we use on with it. Again we use on with it. So please write somewhere, if you're noting down things, please write these things. Just write surface and just write days and dates. For example, Ms. Jones was admitted on 26 January 2007 or 2010 or 2020, whatever you want to use. So whenever we mention dates, we use on with it. Whenever we use days, again we use on with it. For example, Mr. Fred saw the dentist on Sunday. Mr. Fred saw the dentist on Sunday. So whenever we use either surfaces or dates and days, we make sure that we are using on with it. Now, what are the other circumstances where on is used? What are other cases where on can be used? Let us see. These are certain secrets that nobody will tell you. But at Teachio Academy, you will be unveiled every secret. For devices and machines, whenever you are referring about devices and machines, make sure you are using on. For example, the nurse is on the computer. Now here, the nurse is not sitting over the computer. The nurse is not sitting over the computer, but the nurse is working on a computer. The nurse is working on a computer. So whenever we are referring to machines, gadgets, devices, we always use on with it. For example, I am on my PlayStation. I am busy on my phone. I am busy on my phone. Fine. I hope you're getting things. Her X-ray report is being shown on the LED screen. Now, LED screen is an equipment. So whenever you refer to machines, devices, gadgets like mobile phones, television, LED screens, always make sure that you are using on with it. So until now, we have three things with which we use on. What are those three things? The first one being surfaces. The first one being surfaces. The second one being dates and days. The third one being devices and machines. What is the fourth thing with which on is used? Let us see. For body parts. For body parts, we operate on the hand. Whenever you refer to body parts, make sure you are using on with it. So before this session, nobody of you knew that on is used with these things also. But in today's session, when this session would be over, you would be having so much of knowledge with you, and you would be able to apply that knowledge in your OET examinations. And this is why we say that at Teachio Academy, we promise you that we will not let you fail the OET exam, because we will equip you with everything. We always make a very thorough research before equipping you with any topic that we discuss here on this platform. So the fourth thing where on is used is body parts. With body parts, we use on. For example, she wore the ring on her finger. If somebody says she wore the finger in her ring, this is wrong. She wore the finger in her ring is wrong. A finger is not worn inside the ring, inside the finger. The ring is not worn inside the finger. You do not cut your finger and then you wear the ring. You place the finger over the ring over your finger. So whenever you use your body parts, always make sure that you are using on. For example, I massaged on my head. I massaged with oil on my head. Now head is a body part, finger is a body part, the forehead is a body part. So the second example shows you the nurse applied bandage on the forehead of the patient. Now bandage is not applied over the forehead, in the forehead, at the forehead, no, on the forehead, on the finger, on the head. So these are very intrinsic things that most of us do not know. And these are the only things that count when it comes to OET examination, because in OET examination, nobody is going to going to give you marks for your absurd sort of English or grammar or medical aspects. Very intrinsic details are going to count over here. Now let us see furthermore for showing the states of something. For example, I am on vacation. I am on vacation. Now vacation is a state. It's my state. I am on holiday. I am on leave today. The doctor is on leave today. After the death of the patient, the doctor was on fire. After the death of the patient, the doctor was on fire. This means that a doctor is not sitting on fire, but the doctor was angry, was in rage, was in fury. So after the death of the patient, the doctor was on fire. The patient was on medications. This is a state. You do not remain medications for entire of your life, but it is a state when you are put into some state. I am on vacation. I am on leave. These are my states. Mr. Smith was on ventilators. Mr. Smith was on ventilators. Masks are on demand these days. Now, demand is a state of masks. Masks are on demand these days. So, until now, we have 5 things with which on is used. I am recapitulating in front of you. Let us see once again. Just go on and look at the slides and you'd be able to grab things very quickly. Whenever we refer to surfaces, we always make the use of on here. Whenever you refer to dates and days, we always make use of on. Whenever we use devices and machines, we make use of on once again for body parts and for showing the states of something. I hope you are enjoying the session, because we are of course discussing very interesting things over here once again, like always. So now let us see the use of onto. Onto also confuses us most of the times. So onto is somewhat like on, but we use onto when something was in motion and then it rested upon a surface. Listen to me once again. Something was on motion, something was in motion, something was moving, and immediately it came to rest on a surface. Something was moving, and it came to rest on a surface. So we make use of onto. For example, the cat jumped onto the table. The cat jumped onto the table. So the cat was in motion. The cat was in motion while jumping, and then it rested upon the table. So whenever something, when something is not moving, like the reports are on the table. Now reports were not moving, but when something is moving and then it comes to rest over the surface, we make use of what? Onto. The cat jumped onto the table. I climbed onto the roof. I climbed onto the roof. I was climbing and immediately I came rest onto a roof. Keep the books onto the shelf. So somebody has to pick the books. Somebody has to lift the books and has to move with the books and then keep it inside the shelf. So we use onto here. He stepped down the bus onto the road. Now the person was moving on a bus. When the bus stopped, he jumped onto the road, out of the bus. So whenever something is in movement and then rest on a surface, always make sure you are using onto. I hope now the difference of on and onto is clear to you. Let us see the usage of upon now. We are running very quickly. If you are having any sorts of doubts, please write in your chat windows. We will try to make clear things to you. All the concepts we'll try to make clear to you. If you are having some sort of a doubt, please write in your chat windows. And if it's okay, then let us continue with the session. We are coming with upon now. Now, when is upon used? Upon is used when something happens after another. For example, Mr. Ben got paralyzed upon the cardiac arrest. So, can you tell me what happened first? Paralysis or cardiac arrest? Write in your chat windows. Please write in your chat windows. Mr. Ben got paralyzed upon the cardiac arrest. What came first? Paralysis or cardiac arrest? For cardiac arrest, just write CA. For paralysis, write P. Okay, Benita, Dr. Zana, Aishwarya, Itha, Atul, Jayakumar, cardiac arrest. Very nice. Very nice. All of you very nice. I'm very happy. So this means you are understanding things. Mr. Ben got paralyzed upon the cardiac arrest. Now, whenever you write your OET letter, you must be specific that if you are using upon, for example, in your OET examination, you are speaking to your interlocutor or you're writing an OET letter and you write that Mr. Ben got paralyzed upon the cardiac arrest. So clearly this shows that first of all, the cardiac arrest came up to Mr. Ben and then Mr. Ben got paralyzed. For example, the patient suffered ulcers upon getting burnt. The patient suffered ulcers upon getting burnt. So a patient got burnt and then developed ulcers. So whenever you are using upon, please make sure that you are chronologically correct. Make sure you are chronologically correct. So upon is used when something happens after another thing. So when something happens after another thing, we use upon. For example, I am repeating my example. Mr. Ben got paralyzed upon the cardiac arrest. Now the second sentence. Upon the administration of insulin, the patient's bloods were done. Upon the administration of insulin, the patient's bloods were done. So what does this mean? That first the patient was administered insulin and then his blood tests were conducted. So what came first? What happened first? First, insulin was administered. Insulin was given to the patient and then the blood tests were conducted. So here a chronology is clear over here. One person, your examiner of your OET examination, your interlocutor is able to understand as to what happened first and what happened after that, what happened later on. So chronologically, whenever you are referring incidents, make sure of upon. When something is moving and comes to rest, use onto. Fine. Let us proceed. Upon testing positive of COVID-19, the patient was quarantined. So, of course, Benita, you can write it this way also, but I am focusing upon the usage of paralyze, upon. Now, Benita has asked a question that how about Mr. Ben got paralyzed following a cardiac arrest? Of course, Benita, you are correct. But this following, every student is writing the same thing. You have to do something new with your OET examination. So if you use upon, it makes a greater significance upon the brains of the person who is analyzing your examination, that you have a very good knowledge of English. So these are small connectors. Prepositions are also connectors that when you make use of them, they leave a very impactful mark upon the person who is checking your test, the test you took. So we are focusing upon the usage of upon here. So now another example we have over here. Upon testing positive of COVID-19, the patient was quarantined. So the patient was quarantined. When was the patient was quarantined? When he was diagnosed of COVID. The patient was first diagnosed of COVID and then he was quarantined. So here upon is again letting you know the chronology of the situations of your patient. The patient vomited upon taking the medicines. Now, when did the patient vomit? When did the patient vomit? The patient vomit after taking the medicines, not before taking the medicines. Now, who told you this? The word upon told you this. Just a little word, just a very little word, upon. And it told you, it clarified to you everything. So with this notion that I'm sure that you are able to understand that these small words like upon, onto, they try to give you a greater meaning of your sentence, a greater meaning of your sentence. Of course, we have meaningful sentences, but whenever we use words like upon or onto, the meaning is expanded. Chronology, the motion of the object, I mean, everything is expanded. The person who is reading your draft, the person who is reading your letter, the person who is listening you, and who is listening you? Your interlocutor. When it comes to OET speaking, so all these sessions of ours focus on all four aspects of OET. May it be listening, may it be reading, may it be writing, or may it be reading. So we focus these small like prepositions, adjectives. You do not think that they focus only on OET writing. They are focusing on all aspects of OET examination, all the four aspects: speaking, reading, listening, and writing. So you cannot escape out of here. You are trying to give a greater meaning to your sentences when you write them, when you speak them, when you listen to them, chronologically or physically. And these are the two aspects when you deal with your patients: chronology and physics. They leave a very greater mark upon your analysis. I hope you understand. So the patient vomited upon taking the medicines. This is how we have used it. Okay, now Adiogo, you have wrote upon CPR the patient passed away. Very nice. You can use it likewise, that when CPR was done, the patient passed away after that. Very nice, very nice. Had you written following CPR the patient passed away, no meaning is given over here. Are you getting me, Benita? I hope you are getting me. Benita, specifically, I'm referring you that you used following. Now, in this sentence, following CPR, the patient passed away. I mean, this is not a very good sentence to write. But this sentence, which this gentleman or this lady has written, upon CPR, the patient passed away, is leaving a greater impact. Looks, of course, passing away of somebody is not a beautiful sentence. It's a very, very, mourningful sentence. But appropriately, whenever it comes, when a doctor is writing or when a doctor is speaking, upon is preferred that you use the word upon. Yes, very nice, Adjugo. Very nice, Adjugo. You're writing very correct sentences. Now, Ashwarya has also written, upon taking this medication, you might feel discomfort initially. Very nice, Ashwarya. Now, see, most of the doctors, whenever they recommend some medicines to their patients, they always say that you might have some discomfort upon taking these medicines. So this is how upon is used. Whenever doctors or nurses recommend some medicines to their patients, they advise their patients that you might feel like vomiting, you might feel like a little bit high tempered after taking these medicines, and so. So the word upon is very, very appropriate to use over here. like Aishwarya has used. I'm reading the sentence of Aishwarya once again. Upon taking this medicine, you might feel discomfort initially. Very nice. SP has also written a very beautiful sentence. I'm reading it. SP, I congratulate Anita, SP, Aishwarya, all of you for writing such beautiful sentences for us. Upon administration of injection, he got an allergic reaction. Very nice. SP has written very nice. Anita, upon discharge, he was recommended daily dressing. Now, Dr. Prashant and Dr. Bhavna, you have very wonderful students over here in this on this platform. They are helping me so much. They have written such beautiful sentences. I'm congratulating all of you. Very nice, SP, Anita, Aishwarya. I'm very happy for the sentences that you have written here. These are very, very beautiful sentences. And these are the sentences we make use of in our day-to-day life. So this is how upon is used over here. Okay, now some secrets. It's time for some secrets now. I'll teach you some magic now. Is it so? Of course, I'm teaching you magic. Am I not teaching you magic? This is how magic is done with your OET examination. So let us come to some secrets. I'm going to tell you some secrets. Now, see, depends on, depends upon. Now, I want one of you to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself voluntarily, and you tell me the difference between these two sentences. Depends on, depends upon. Who is going to unmute themselves? Tabua, Aishwarya, any one of you is going to unmute yourself? Okay, we had a newcomer over here. I hope Ete. The name was I'm not getting. Ete, are you here? Are you listening to us? If you are listening to us, you can unmute yourself and tell me the difference between these two small sentences written on your screens. Nobody is willing to tell me? Yes, Ete, can you tell us the difference between these two small sentences over here? What is the difference between depends on and depends upon? Can somebody throw some light over here? Nobody is ready. I'm asking and inviting any of you once again over here to tell me the difference between these two small sentences, and these are the words that we use every day. These are the words we use every day. Depends on, depends upon.
So can I try?
Tinsy. Yes, Tinsy, you can try. Please welcome.
Yes, sir. I'm not sure, but let me try. Okay.
Nobody's
So I
sure.
think,
Even I'm not sure. Yeah, go on.
yeah, I think depends on is in the everyday life we are saying one child depends on her mother. But if you are saying uh, depends upon the investigations, um, he's diagnosed with pneumonia, something like that. Is that sure? I don't know.
Is your name Tinsy?
Yes, sir.
Tinsy, I'm very happy for you. And why did you say that you are not sure? You are so sure about it. I congratulate you for your participation. Some other student who wants to throw some light over these two small sentences, as Tinsy said. Some other student.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I want to tell that depends on, it like depends on mood, depends on the situation. Like the already Jency said, we use depends on in daily use, but I'm not sure about depends upon. And
no worries. SP, very nice. Maybe know your name.
Sonia. It's Sonia.
Sonia. Thank you for giving your feedback. You were also very correct, Sonia. Very. Somebody else who wants to speak?
Yes.
Yes, Adelgo.
Yeah,
I want to know the pronunciation of your name first of all.
Depends on has to do with trust or when you repose confidence on somebody, Then when you have depends on, I think has to do with you rely on somebody.
Yes, yes.
Your ability to rely on somebody or trust somebody, that is depend on, depend
Okay,
upon.
okay, okay.
Then depend on is where you place trust or confidence on another person. I don't know whether that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. How do we pronounce your name?
Adaugo.
Adaugo. Thank you
Yes.
very much, Adaugo, for participating and sharing your idea with us. I'm very happy for all the people who have replied to us. Now I will
Can
tell
I,
you
sir?
who are we speaking to, Dr. Zana?
Yes, sir.
Welcome,
Sir,
Dr.
actually, the depends on means to need something for the sport, and just like he depends on the parents for the money or anything else, and depend upon is just like we determine or decide something.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Zana. You are also very much correct. But you know, now all of you can mute yourself. Now I'm going to let you know the main aspect when we use on and upon. All of you are very correct, and I'm very happy. And as I told the members of Teach You Academy, that all the students here are very, very intelligent, and they already know so much. There is no need to tell you much about it. My answer would also be the same as you, all of you answered, but you were not telling me the proper word. Depends on is used informally. Informally. For example, all the 4 ladies who spoke on this platform right now, you were very correct that she depends on her mother for the money. So depends on, when we use on, it is informal. When we use upon, it becomes formal. It becomes formal, as Tinsy said. The answer of Tinsy was the most appropriate out of all the answers, although all the answers were correct. But Tinsy got into the nerves of the meaning of both these words very appropriately. And she gave proper examples also over here. So whenever we use on with such words like depends, rely upon, rely on, insist upon, when we use on, please make sure that you are informal in a conversation. But whenever you are going a formal conversation, and what is a formal conversation? OET exam is a formal conversation. Whenever you are writing OET letters, whenever you are participating in the OET speaking session, it is a formal session. Please make sure it is a formal session. And I believe you do not use on with these words over here. Make sure that you are, and you must have to use upon. Now, this was a secret that nobody until knew. No, very few people know about such secrets. As I told you that after this session, you are going to take a full loads of knowledge when this session finishes. So when we use on, it is informal. When we use upon, it is formal. So stick to upon. Stick to upon. Now upon had 2 meanings. Upon administration of the insulin, the patient got sick. So upon shows chronology also. Let me show you some examples over here, like the patient vomited upon taking the medicines. So here upon is showing you chronology, and upon also shows you formal and informal. The difference between formal and informal is also shown by upon. Here are certain other examples. Congratulations on your completion of your project. If your father says this to you, very correct. But if your professor says to you this to you, if your doctor says this to you, he has to use upon. If you are a doctor and you are congratulating your subordinate, your nurse, your doctor, you make sure you are using upon. If you are writing a congratulation letter to your subordinate, make sure you are using upon. If you are speaking to your brother or sister or friend or your family members, you can use on. Although both the sentences are correct, but the first sentence is informal. The second sentence is formal. So if you are writing a congratulations letter and you are trying to send flowers and a letter to your subordinate, make sure you are using upon. Congratulations upon your completion of the project. The patient insisted on having an echo. Now here the patient insisted you informally, but if the patient is formally asking you for an echo, he is writing to you, or he may complain that you did not conducted an echo upon the patient, upon will be used. When upon is used, the entire scenario becomes formal and official. When on is used, it is informal. You may have an echo or you may not have an echo, but if your patient is insisting upon having an echo, you have to have an echo to satisfy your patient that nothing is wrong with him or her. I hope I'm clear to you. Another example, Mrs. Jeff's condition worsened year upon year. The patient ignored subscriptions months upon months. Now, can somebody tell me the use the significance of upon here? Can somebody, only one of you, can somebody, any one of you, unmute yourself and tell me the right meaning of the first sentence?
It means
Yes.
Mr. Jeff's condition. It means Mr. Jeff's condition deteriorates year after year. It deteriorates on a yearly basis. It doesn't get better.
Very nice, Adobo.
It's
Other person.
Hi. It's mean a condition is continuously getting worse over the long period.
Very nice, both of you, Adagbo, and the name of the other lady who spoke?
Jabin.
Jabin. Okay. So Jabin and Adagbo, both of you are very correct, but here is a very slight difference. Very slight difference that nobody knows, but all of you are going to know it today. When we say that Mrs. Jeff's condition worsened year upon year, this means that the condition is getting deteriorated more year after year. In the first year, the condition was bad. The next year, condition was worse. The third year, condition was worst. So the condition, the status of condition is worsening year by year. The condition is not same. For example, suppose I have my diabetes level. Suppose, just let's take an example. This year, my diabetes level is 300. And somebody says that my condition is worsening year upon year. This means that this year my diabetes level is 300. Next year it will be 350. The next to next year it will be 400. The next to next year it will be 450. So here this is a very slight difference that you have to know, that if you are using upon here, this means that the condition is getting more deteriorated year after year. It's not constant. So all of you knew the meaning of this sentence, but here was a very slight thing that nobody of you knew. Nobody of you knew. I hope you are getting me. Let me explain once again. For example, somebody is having cancer, or just let's say, let us take an example of diabetes itself. Since I'm not a doctor, so I may get a little bit fluctuated, but you have to focus upon the concept I'm trying to tell you. Suppose somebody says Mrs. Jeff's condition of diabetes worsen year upon year. Listen to me. Suppose somebody says to you that Mrs. Jeff's condition of diabetes worsen year upon year. This means that Mrs. Jeff's diabetes level in the year 2010 was 200, 2011 it was 250, 2012 it was 300, 2013 it was 350. So when we use upon in such sentences, the condition is getting deteriorated more I mean there is an addition of deterioration year after year. There x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, x plus 4 year after year. I hope I'm able to clarify things into your brain. Still, if you are having problem, please let us know. If I'm clear, please write why, so that I would be able to explain you more. Progressive, yes. The patient ignored the subscriptions months upon months. Now, what does this sentence mean? What does this sentence mean? Suppose you gave your patient 10 medicines. So in the month of January, the patient ignored one medicine. In February, the patient ignored 2 medicines. In March, the patient ignored 5 medicines. In April, the patient ignored 6 medicines. So when you use upon its sentences, there is a progression and addition. There is an addition of ignorance. So I hope now, did you see? We make use of upon so much. Let us see. Let us see the use of upon. The first upon, chronology. The next upon, on and upon. The third upon, year upon year. So these are the few uses of upon itself. So until now,
वॉशरूम में तुम लोग को आने दिया फिर
please unmute, please mute everybody, mute yourselves. So until now, we did not know so many uses of upon. But from now session onwards, all of you would be knowing so many uses of upon. Upon plays a different role in different sentences. Chronology, the level of progression, the formal and difference between formal and informal, official and informal. Now let us look at another preposition, at. Now when we use at with time, I want to tell you that if you can see the time in a clock, if you can see the time on a clock, you use at with it. For example, at 3 p.m., at 5 a.m., at 6:30. So if you can see time on a clock, if the time you are referring can be put on a clock, you use at with it. If you have night, use at with it. If you have noon, use at with it. So there are 3 uses of at with reference to time, and what are those? If you can see your time in a clock, make sure you are using at with it. If you can see the night, you are talking about night, use at with it. If you are referring to noon, make sure you are using at with it. So at is used for precise timings. Like if you can see the time on the clock, for referring noon and for referring night. For calendars, if you have calendars, if you can see the time on a calendar. Now what does the calendar show? The calendar shows days, dates, months and year. There are 4 things that a calendar shows. What does a calendar show? Days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Dates, 1, 2, 3, 4. Months, January, February, March, April, and year, the year 2020. So for months, years, centuries, and short periods and durations, what do we use? For long periods of time, we use in. For example, in 2020, in 2019, corona spread in China. For days and dates, make sure you are using on. For days and dates, as we saw on our earlier slides also, that for days and dates we make use of on. So for months, years, centuries and longer periods of times, what do? We use in, and for days and dates we use on. Let us look at a few examples over here. You can see on your screens at precise time. When we have precise time, like at 3 o'clock and at 10:30 a.m., at noon, at dinner time, at bedtime, at sunrise, at sunset, at the moment. In is used for months, years, centuries, and long periods, like in May, in summer, in the summer, in 1990, in the 1990s, in the next century, in the ice age, in the past, in the future, in the present. And for days and dates, what do? We use on. For example, on Christmas Day, on Independence. Fine. What else we have? Some expressions like at night. I told you that with specific points of time, when you have a specific point of time, what do? You use at with it. For example, at night, at the weekend, at Christmas, at Easter, at the same time, at present. You can have a look at the examples shown over here. Other examples are in the morning, on Tuesday morning, in the mornings, on Saturday mornings, in the afternoon, on Saturday afternoon, in the evening, on Monday evening. So this is the difference between in and on when it comes to the usage of time. And at, you will use at if you can see the time on a clock, and for nights and noon, or a specific point of time like the weekend. Now we use in with enclosed surfaces, like I am sitting in the room, I am in the house, the bird is in the cage. If you have enclosed surroundings, you will make use of in with it. Jim is in France visiting his aunt in the hospital. The whiskey is in the jar in the fridge. The girls play in the garden. Now we have enclosed surroundings over here, and that is why we made use of in. At is used for fixed location and fixed places, like at the bus stop, at the railway station, at the junction, at the entrance, at the bus stop, at the airport. Now, prepositions, as I told you, and I have been telling you throughout this session and the last session also, that prepositions form the skeletal part of medical communication, and we will see now onwards. The result is above the normal range. The result is under the normal range. The result is within the normal range. Now, there are three prepositions here: above, under, within. And for the same test reports, we have used three different prepositions. This is the beauty of prepositions, that whenever a preposition is used, it changes the meaning of a sentence completely. Now, can you participate in this quiz that we have on the screen? Please write your answers in the chat window. You have to match. You have to match the terms in table 1 and table 2. You write your answers in your chat window. This is an exercise for all of you. Please try to participate over here. Write your answers like 1B, 3C, 5D, and so on. Please write the full answers. Please try to participate in this exercise and try to write the full answers. Ashwarya, Fasiha, very nice. Others also. Tinsy, please write in one go. Dr. Maheen, very nice. Jabin, very nice. Lissy, very nice. Very nice, Lissy. Priyal, very nice, Priyal. Adogbo, very nice, Adogbo. Unsa, very nice, Unsa. Very nice, Unsa. Very nice, all of you. You have written the correct answers, and I am writing the answers for all of you in the chat window. The answers look somewhat like this. This is how the answers look like. Ete, very nice, Ete. You are doing perfectly fine, Ete. Very nice. All of you gave the correct answers, and this is how the correct answers look like somewhat. Although my answers are flowing a bit, but still the answers remain the same. Yours and mine, both of us. So very nice participation, all of you. Let us look at a few more examples. Now, I want to ask one of you to unmute yourself and tell me as to what is wrong in these sentences. One of you unmute yourself. Those of you who haven't participated yet, please try to participate. What will happen? The maximum, what will happen?
The third one.
Anita, yes, Anita. What's wrong with the first sentence?
The George was admitted in the hospital.
Mr. George was admitted
In the hospital. That is correct, no, sir. The third one at 3 o'clock.
Okay. The second sentence, Anita.
The nurse explained condition for the. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Anita. Somebody else who wants to.
Can I speak? Yes.
Yes,
Mr. George was admitted to the hospital. The nurse
Very
explained
nice.
the condition of the patient to the doctor, and
Very
the patient
nice.
was asked to see the cardiologist at 3 o'clock.
Very nice, Aishwarya. Very nice. Very nicely explained. Somebody else who wants to respond as to what's wrong over here with the sentences?
Yeah. Mr. George was admitted to the hospital. The
Good.
nurse, Mr. George was admitted to the hospital.
Very nice.
Then the nurse explained the condition of the patient to the doctor.
Very good.
The patient was asked to see the cardiologist at 3 o'clock.
Very nice. Very nice, Adagbo. Very nicely participated.
The mistake is in for the hospital and on.
Yes, Rashmi.
Yeah, the mistake is in the first sentence, in second sentence for, and third sentence is on.
Yes, these are the prepositions which are wrong. So the correct answers are Mr. George was admitted to the hospital, like Adogbo and Aishwarya told us. Both the answers of all three of you are correct. Rashmi, Aishwarya and Adogbo. Mr. George was admitted to the hospital. The nurse explained the condition of the patient to the doctor. The patient was asked to see the cardiologist at 3 o'clock. Now let us look at few more examples. Now we have some problems while usage of prepositions when it comes to OET. For example, a same preposition can have different meanings. For example, please come in. This means somebody is asking somebody to come inside from an outer surrounding to an inner surrounding. Please come in. The second sentence, come back in 3 weeks. This means when 3 weeks are over, when 3 weeks are completed, then the patient has to come. When the 4th week starts. So here we saw that in gave two different meanings to two different sentences. Please come in means that somebody has to come, somebody has to leave an outer surrounding and has to enter an inner surrounding. Please come in 3 weeks mean that the patient has to visit again when 3 weeks are completed and the 4th week begins. Let us look at another problem. You should take up a meditation session. You should take up a meditation session. Now this means that you should start a meditation session. I believe this is a lot of information to take in. Now somebody does not take information inside, or somebody doesn't eat information, or somebody drinks information. But here it means that somebody has imbibed through the information. So here take up and take in, they both give different meanings. We have another phrasal verb, take off, and it is used for airplanes. The flight took off the airport. Now we have here two contrasts over here. We do not write to home or to me. We write to home or to me. Mrs. X will be discharged to home today is wrong. Mrs. X will be discharged home today. This is the correct sentence. Very few of us knew about it. And we write these sentences in our OET letters every day. Every day. So a patient is not discharged to home. A patient is discharged home. Mr. Y presented to me at the clinic this morning. No, Mr. Y presented at the clinic this morning. Presented at the clinic this morning. This is the correct version of these two wrong sentences. Let us look at another sentence. Mr. Z was admitted to the hospital in severe pain. Mr. Z was admitted to hospital in severe pain. We do not use the with hospital. Mr. Z was admitted to hospital in severe pain. These are very slight differences that, although they do not change the meaning of the sentence you are trying to tell somebody or you are trying to write, but these are the very little things that your interlocutor is looking for in your OET referral discharge letters, or whenever your speaking sessions are conducted on OET. With pain is wrong, Tinsy. In pain. Somebody is not with pain, somebody is in pain. So you cannot use with, Tinsy. Now there are some very commonly used prepositions in OET, like symptoms of, benefit from, diagnosed with, at the time of admission, suffering from, diagnosis of, signs pertaining to, signs of, and we will see as to how these are used. Look at your screens kindly. The patient was diagnosed with symptoms of hernia. The patient was diagnosed with symptoms of hernia. Symptoms of hernia. I am writing to refer Miss Meg, who shows signs and symptoms of diabetes. This is the first sentence you always write in your OET letter, and this is how we become ignorant while writing our letters in OET. I am writing to refer Mr. Jim, whose symptoms pertain to diabetes. This is another version of writing the same sentence. We have another version of the same thing we are trying to say. I am writing to refer Mrs. Kenner, whose symptoms are suggestive of diabetes. Now just look at these three last sentences on your screens. All these sentences have same meaning, but we have decorated all these three sentences with different words. And what are these words? Symptoms of, pertaining to, suggestive of, and to. Suggestive of, pertaining to, and symptoms of. What are the other examples? Let us look at these. The patient was admitted with the diagnosis of the chest. The patient was admitted with the diagnosis of chest. At the time of admission, Mr. Gibbs showed symptoms of dyslexia. At the time of admission, kindly consider that the patient has an appointment with the psychiatrist. Appointment with. Mr. Turner has had diabetes since 2007. When you have a specific time, you use since with it. For a specific time, you use since with it. For a duration of time, you use for with it. For example, Mr. Turner has had diabetes since 2007. Mr. Turner has had diabetes for the last 3 years. Mr. Turner has lost almost 12 kgs over the past 7 months. Now here we have three different sentences, and we have mentioned time over here, and we have used different prepositions like since, for, and over. Since, for, and over. At the time of admission, Miss Gilbert showed mild symptoms of influenza. The patient will benefit from your advice. The patient has been seen by a gynecologist. Mrs. Jane must visit the cardiologist on Tuesday, after Tuesday, by Tuesday, before Tuesday. Now, these timings have different meanings. On Tuesday means specifically on Tuesday. After Tuesday means any day after Tuesday. By Tuesday means that Tuesday must not pass. Tuesday must not pass. And before Tuesday means that Tuesday should not arrive. Tuesday should not arrive. Mr. Lee must take the medications with breakfast, post-breakfast, and pre-breakfast. These are other prepositions of time like with, post, and pre that you doctors and nurses make use of every day. Smith was admitted with the ICU on Friday. Smith was admitted on signs of depression. Smith was admitted to Sunday morning. Now, can one of you unmute yourself and tell me what's wrong with these three sentences? Any of you who can unmute themselves and let me know as to what's wrong with these three sentences.
Mr. Smith was admitted to the ICU on Friday. Smith was admitted with signs of depression. Smith was admitted on Sunday morning.
Very nice. Very nice, Ajagbo. Any other person who wants to participate? Boys are not participating. What is happening to all the voices? Boys. Gentlemen.
Hi, it's Sonia.
Yes, Sonia, please speak.
I want to explain first one question that Smith was admitted in the ICU because ICU is closed.
Very nice. Very nice.
She was admitted with signs of depression.
Very nice.
She was admitted on the Sunday morning.
On Sunday morning. Very nice, Sonia. Very nice. Somebody else who wants to say something? Ete, you haven't spoken yet. Yes, please, somebody speak.
Hello. Ete
Hello,
speaking.
everyone. Ete, yes. What's wrong with
Hello.
these 3 sentences? You tell.
Smith was admitted to the ICU on Friday. Smith was
Yes.
admitted with signs of depression. Smith
Very
was
nice.
admitted on Sunday morning.
So, Sonia, all of you, I congratulate all of you for speaking. Adogbo, Sonia, and Ete very nicely replied. All the answers given very correctly. But Sonia's answers were the most perfect ones. Smith was admitted in the ICU on Friday. Admitted in the ICU. Smith was admitted with signs of depression. And the third sentence, Smith was admitted on Sunday morning. Of course, you can use to the ICU, but to the ICU is not correct. In the ICU, because ICU is a enclosed area wherein somebody is admitted. Of course, admitted to hospital and admitted in the ICU are two different things. Make sure you use admitted correctly with both of these. Admitted in the ICU and admitted to the hospital. This was the only minor thing that I want to tell you over here, and all of you have participated very nicely. Here's another examples. After dinner, the patient brought out everything. Mr. Lee got over depression last year. Miss William passed out after the administration of injections. Now, these are 3 sentences over here, and the meaning is very, very vague. So what is the correct meaning over here? The first sentence, after dinner, the patient brought out everything, means that the patient vomited. In the first sentence, the patient vomited. In the second sentence, the patient got rid of depression. The patient was cured of depression. Got over means somebody has left us. In the third sentence, Miss William passed out means fainted, fell unconscious. So when we use pass out means to fall unconscious or to faint. But when we say pass away means death, dead. When somebody passes away, this means that the person is no more. But when we say that somebody passed out, this means that somebody has fainted for quite some time, a little period of time. Somebody has fallen unconscious. So in these 3 sentences, the meaning was very vague, but now I have told you how these sentences are used. And when your interlocutor speaks to you like this in your speaking session, you should be able to understand as to what your patient or your examiner is trying to say you precisely. Okay. Under examples, after the accident, the patient came down with spondylitis. This means that after the accident, the patient suffered spondylitis. The nurse patched up the patient's wound means the nurse dressed or stitched the patient's wounds. So this was all in today's session. I hope you had enjoyed this session. And today, as I told you when we began this session, I told you that when this session winds up, when we finish this session, you would be able to take away so much of information with you to be used in the occupational English test. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I thank all of you for your participation, especially the girls over here. The boys did not spoke much in today's session. I don't know why, but on the next session, I want boys also to participate. Thank you, Teacher Academy, for inviting, and we hope to have further interactive sessions and very interesting session in days to come. With this, I wind up. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Manoj. Very, very helpful session like always. Guys, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's by the same name, Teachio Academy, where you'll be able to find all of our lectures. In case you want to just know a little bit more about the courses that we offer, you can visit teachyouracademy.com or you can text the number provided on your screen. I hope you guys have had lots of fun today, and I hope you've learned something new. Hopefully, this should help on your OET test, and you should be able to improve your score. But thank you, Mr. Manoj. Thanks for helping out. To wrap up the session now, guys, please visit teachyouracademy.com and please give us a good rating on Google as well. Thanks and good luck.